Alright, we're gonna give this another shot. I'm trying to cut down my time for y'all because I speak way too much on this because I'm very passionate about it. But my name's Charles Baker, and I did my presentation on how to be an effective teacher. Okay? I decided that I'm sick, first off, but I decided that I wanted to do this in person, not just record it on the narration, because I feel like I can get more into it, and I'm very vocal and gestury, if that's a word, and I feel like I need to show that. But being a teacher is more than a job. And again, I apologize, I don't have a pointer, I don't have a clicker, so I'm using the space bar to change, and I'm sick, so work with me. But being an effective teacher, it's more than a job, okay? Far more than a job. Being a teacher, you can change lives, you can make an impact, you can make a difference. And never forget that. Don't become a teacher just to be there. Do not be that teacher. Make a difference. You can shape every single child's life that walks in, and I highly recommend that you try to do that, especially if you want to be considered an effective teacher. Try hard at that. Okay, and a huge one to remember is it takes time and it requires patience. A first-year teacher most likely will not walk in to a classroom and be considered effective right off the bat. It's strategies and tips and techniques that you learn over time. And I'm going to try to lay them out for you on what you need to do, but it still takes a class after another class after another class to decide what you like, to decide what works best, to understand your students, to decide to figure out who you're working with, to what each student likes. That takes time, and that requires patience because you will mess up, and that happens. That's part of it. Use your guidance. If you've got you've got a school full of 40 teachers, I'm just assuming and guessing. Every single one of those teachers has got some bit of information that they can help you with. Use that. That will help you go so far. And stay positive, okay? No matter if you mess up, stay positive. Stay positive as a teacher. Don't get rattled. Try not to get rattled, because students can be difficult, and you just gotta know that it's coming. So stay positive with it. But communication is my first huge step when it comes to considering yourself effective. And you just need communication in everything. Like every single step I will throw at you today will require communication. Communication is everywhere. You got to communicate with your students, bring them closer to you. You've got to be able to connect. Connection and communication, that's not a word. Connection and communication are hand in hand, and you gotta have those. It involves everything, as I said, every single thing. You've got to be able to communicate, and along with communication is feedback, and feedback is a good one. Feedback is everywhere. You get feedback. I mean, sports. You look at a box score after a game. You see, basketball, for instance, Jimmy had 14 points and 8 rebounds, and then you watch game film. You're like, oh, I can do this better. Or you can watch how to stop Jimmy if you're the opposite team. All that is feedback. Every bit of that. Just like your grades at the end of a semester or at the end of a test, that's a feedback. Okay, use feedback. Feedback is growth. Go by students and let them know, listen, hey, you can do this. It might not be on here, but positive feedback is huge. Positive, okay? Don't just tell them you did this wrong. No. Okay, he tried. Give him some credit. Listen, I see what you did here. I understand how you did this. Next time, though, what do you think we try? And then, etc. Okay, positive feedback. And also, use feedback to yourself. They give out some surveys, twice a semester. Use what they are telling you to help yourself grow and become more effective. Okay, feedback is huge. You move on from the communication and feedback, and you get into your classroom control. And classroom control it's solely mostly based on yourself, because you have to control it. And it begins with yourself. So you want to talk about your preparedness, your presentation, and your atmosphere. And you want to be prepared. Like, make sure you got all your materials. You're ready for your class. Okay, you don't just go into class with nothing. Like, hey, I'm gonna wing it today. No, you've got to know what you're doing. Okay. Then you move on to your presentation skills, and that is a huge one that a lot of young teachers don't actually focus enough on, is their presentation skills. Because when you're not good and you're not showing enough motivation, you're not showing enough enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is huge. You want to use that. If you're not showing that you're into what you're teaching, then students aren't gonna they're not gonna pay you any attention. They're not gonna care. You've really got to have good presentation skills. And again, yeah, show an interest. That's with enthusiasm. Okay, that gets your whole atmosphere, your whole class where you want to be. Okay, grades is a big one. A lot of students like to argue, and they'll say, "Oh, well, Jimmy did this. Jimmy made an 80. Why didn't I make an 80?" You gotta let them know straight up, like, listen, we're not arguing. Maybe write some answers, write your questions, what you need help with, what question you thought you should have got right. When you hand out your tests, you can write them on them, and they can bring them back to you. That's a great tip. That'll explain it's fair to everybody. Like, listen, I mean, 80% of the class made A's. I can't help y'all made a B or y'all made a C. Like, it was a fair test. Make sure students understand, because they're quick to blame you. They think the teacher is there to bring them down. Like, hey, mom and dad said I need an A, and teacher's giving me a C. Like, he don't like me. You gotta understand. You gotta let them understand that it's not you. Okay? A huge one is you're learning your own instruction method. How do you want to be effective? Being comfortable with yourself. Okay? A lot of teachers are lecturers. Other people throw in activities. They throw in participation. You can get activities where the whole class is involved. Students will love that more, and it shows it can be just as effective. Just as effective, as long as you can keep everybody focused. A lot of students will look at that as, it's time to talk, it's time to have fun. But if you can keep everybody focused and doing their work, it can be just as effective. And students will love it and love you a lot more. Along with that, you gotta develop a routine. Do not get stale. Do not get stale. Students hate that. It's the same old thing every day. They hate it. But you can use what is working. If you can cut down class time, if you can use something that's efficient and it's working and students are liking it, keep going. Do not change. Especially, it works a lot for like elementary levels, for younger kids. They connect on to little things easy and they love it. And so if that can cut down effectiveness and you can go with it, that's what you want. So you move on to that and show approval. Like I said, no negatives. You want to use positive feedback. Students are seeking success, and you don't know their background. You don't know what they're coming from home. And a lot of students could use this more than others. You want to show them that they can succeed. You want to let them know they can succeed. And always show approval in everything that they're doing, even when it's wrong. Try to help them. Don't just tell them they're wrong. Don't do that. And because again, they believe that teachers are limiting their success. They are there. They won't like you. That's why you have to become effective. Connect with them. Let them know that you are not the enemy. I was actually about to say that, and it's almost like work with them and show them you are not the enemy. Okay, motivation. Motivation's huge. Like it says it's huge, and you've got to be able to motivate them, because a lot of students will not do their work, and motivation is big. Not all students will have motivation in them, and there's different ways to motivate. A lot of students motivate themselves internally, where it's just like, I made an 80 last time, I need an 85 this time, I can do this. And they build on that. They think they can get better every time. Others look at somebody else. Sally made 84. I gotta beat her. And they look at it as outperforming someone else. And either way can work. There's also extrinsic motivation, and that's when you have to reward them. Listen, class, we'll go outside for 20 minutes longer if everybody gets their work done. Okay? Like, everybody gets their work done before lunch, everybody's outside 20 minutes longer. And that works, and that will definitely work, especially when you're a young teacher. But you want to build towards intrinsic. That's what you want. And because that makes students stronger in who they are. You can use that, but you've got to build this. You have to. And so, basically, everything I said is what considers you as an effective teacher. Make an impact, effective. Okay? Knowing your information, effective. Being outgoing, effective. Using your resources, the teachers around you, effective. Sorry, I'm sick. Being effective can shape yourself and your school. That's big. You can make a difference in your school and a difference in yourself. Always give it 100%. Always. Okay? Do not stop working. Do not stop working. Every single class, it don't matter if you're teaching math, you're teaching PE, everything's important. Use it. Change lives, be a role model. Students need someone to look up to. Be that person. And your ultimate goal, your ultimate judge on being effective is your growth. Not just in yourself, in your students, in everything that you do in that classroom is growth. Okay? You're working to be better than what you were before. And that's it. And this is my favorite quote, and this is how I'm ending it. My favorite quote, I had a buddy, went to a job interview, trying to get a teaching position, and the very last question they asked him in his interview was, okay, everything sounds good, but one last question. Why do you want to be a teacher? And he said he was put on the spot, and then one quote came to mind. I don't know who says it, but it's right here. It's, I may not change the world, but I can change the world of one person. Or in this case, 25 students, how many ever you have. You have the ability as a teacher to change them and mold them. And teachers mold the lives that hold the key to our future. These students will grow up, and they are our next generation, and we play a part in making them who they are. And it just holds near and dear to me that being a teacher is something that they take serious. And that's it. That's all I got. I'm Charlie. Thanks.